Hey, Mike here, and today I'm just going to give you my initial thoughts on the Jordan Ultrafly 3. So right off the bat, this shoe looks a lot different than the Ultrafly 2 did. The Jordan Fly 2 looked a lot like the Jordan Fly 15. This one looks a lot, well, for one reason, the why not, just because of this little shroud right here. But also to me, it kind of reminds me, if you look at the silhouette, like the 29 low, and the reason why, if you look here, it looks like there should be like this little air thing sticking right here, or that little black thing that they always had. And this is the part that I'm talking about right here. I don't know if you're able to see it, some of the similarities, but yeah, so it just looks like a crossover between those two. So, I'm just really digging the look. It just looks a lot nicer than the 2. Like, if I'm being honest, in my opinion. So anyways, back to like performance aspects, because I have played in the shoe for about 10 hours. 10 hours outdoors, and then I did like 3 hours indoors. So right off the bat, traction indoors is going to work totally fine. You're seeing right here. So far it's been working fine. No signs of any slippage or anything, especially when dust is around. The bite isn't like really strong like once you break in the Ultrafly 2. Like it doesn't have that yet, but there is a bite there. It's just like it's not like stop on a dime traction, so it's like every other shoe. So you're gonna be totally fine. Now outdoors, this shoe still works really well. I was actually kind of concerned because, as you've seen right here, you can actually move these quite a bit. There's not a lot of resistance to the rubber compound here, but surprisingly, surprisingly, as you're seeing right here, it doesn't seem to have been affecting it. And what I mean by that is, like, there's no signs of it burning off or coming off in chunks or peeling. What happened to the Jordan Why Nots when I put them outdoors, like the first 3 hours I played them in them outdoors, they're already like burning off a bit. Then I took it to a different court where it's like kind of like I always say like granity. It's like it's pretty rough to the touch and everything. And in that court condition, what it ended up doing was it taking the rubber out in chunks. So yeah, so I was worried that this was gonna happen with this shoe because they had a similar description of it being a durable rubber compound. And the why nots work perfectly indoors, outdoors not so much. The traction still holds up outdoors, it's just that it's not going to last you. And with this, surprisingly, it's been holding up. No signs in my 10 hours of outdoor use. Hopefully once I get to the 30, it'll remain the same. Now onto its upper. Its upper is a textile mesh upper and a synthetic sleeve. This material right here, under the shroud and everything, is similar to what was found in the Ultrafly 2 Low and the Jordan Lockdown. So if you played in those or if you felt those, it's going to be a similar situation, especially with the break-in process. It's going to be easy, it's going to be nice, you're not going to notice it too much. You're only going to notice it, the only reason you're going to notice it is because you're going to end up having to relace your shoes. I had to do this a couple of times as it was breaking in. But again, that's because it's starting to form your foot. And again, like even with this synthetic material right here, there's no pitching. This actually moves pretty well. There's not too much restriction, but it still has some structure. This sleeve is similar to what was found in the Jordan Why Nots. It's just that the mesh isn't like protruding outward in that one. If you ever held the Why Nots in hand, you could kind of see where the mesh is. Yeah, this one is just like the sleeve is over this material right here. So yeah, break-in process so far has been very painless, very easy, very nice. And yeah, so yeah, no complaints here. It just sits on your foot. At the moment right now, it's just sitting on my foot. So far it's just like sitting on my foot. No complaints. Never really feels like if it's there, so whenever you have that feeling, that's nice. So it's awesome. And what also can be found is this portion right here. I don't know what it really does. At first I thought it was supposed to be like a pull tab thing, but I have a feeling it has to do something for for the support or something. Hopefully as I continue to play, I'll read some more about the shoe. Maybe it does have a purpose, or maybe it's just there for stylistic purposes or aesthetic purposes. But yeah, so far I don't know. As for the lockdown fit, I just went true to size with every other shoe that I've gotten. So basically, whatever you get in a Jordan shoe, I would just suggest you going with that one. I don't think this is wide footer friendly because I had my brother put his foot in here and he barely got to like this portion right here. Couldn't put his whole foot in here; it was just half sticking out. So I would just suggest you trying in stores, or if you're confident, because this fits like every other Jordan. This fits like every other Jordan shoe to me. I would just suggest you going with that if you want to buy it online. But again, always try seeing in store first. The lockdown is actually really good. It's actually a pretty simple setup right here. There's just like a simple lacy system. I don't know if these are web loops right here, because all I know is it makes it feel tighter on the top, not so much bringing everything closer on the sides. Like this shoe right here, since it's kind of going, like, I don't know if you can see this part kind of goes in, so as you're tightening it, it's gonna bring this part closer. But again, I didn't really ever feel like if there was any dead space on the sides. It actually hugged my foot pretty well. It's not as snug as the white knots, but this one's pretty good. I hate saying that, but this one does a nice job of making it feel snug enough. And I don't want to mean it as in, oh, it's whatever. No, it still fits pretty fine. It's just not the most snuggest or one-to-one fit. And on the inside, you never feel as if you're sliding in the shoe. So, I have no complaints. And then on the back here, you have an internal heel canter right here. It does a good job of keeping your heel in place right here, so it's not moving side to side, and from it getting outside the shoe. So, no complaints there. And what I really enjoy is these little heel pillars right here. They're really comfortable, and it does a good job of adding into that stepping comfort. And I did walk around in these in ankle socks. I feel like if you do wear no-shows, you're gonna be okay. Its stability, so far I haven't really had any issues. The only issues I had was because as it was breaking in, it was pretty loose, so I kind of felt that I was pushing out of it. And but then once I retied my shoes again, that problem disappeared. So just make sure that during the breaking process you are adjusting your laces regularly. As for the ride, it's not as clunky in my opinion as it was in this shoe right here, or even the original Ultralight 2. But, it's not the smoothest ride. The Lockdown has a much smoother ride, but this one isn't to the point where it's like a bother. Even the Ultralight 2 isn't a bother. Well, for me personally, it's just a preference. If you don't like it feeling kind of clunky in the back. Oh, that's with the Ultralight 2. Yeah, but this one isn't too clunky. But again, it's not the smoothest ride. Now, onto its cushion, the cushioning. So it's just Phylon right here, and on the heel and forefoot right here, you're gonna have basically Zoom Air. It's basically a similar setup to what was found in the Ultralight 2. But the one difference I did notice, and probably it's just me, or just wishful thinking, hopefully as I continue playing it, I'll be able to elaborate a bit more on it. But it's just the back here. The back seems to have a more, like, the zoom seems to protrude a bit more than what was found in the Ultralight 2 line. Because other than that, everything seems to be similar. The stepping comfort is going to be right there. So far I've been having a really good time in the shoe. I'm really happy that so far I haven't really been having a bad time in any shoe. Maybe some disappointing times, but no bad times. This shoe has just been really fun to play in. I just really like the setup in here. Again, but if you are just a footer, the way it looks, I just saw one that's, I think it's black and red or gray and red, and I wish I waited and got that one instead. But this one's still good. I'm enjoying the traction so far. It's reliable. I don't have too many issues, so yeah. so far I've been having a good ride. But again, those are just my initial thoughts. Not a full performance review out yet. It's just what I've been noticing. Anything I've caught. So later on, probably in like 3 to 4 weeks, the performance review should be out. Most of the review is gonna be from outdoor use. So if I do end up playing indoors, I'll add it in a bit, but most of it is gonna be outdoors. And again, if you've experienced or if you've played in the shoe and have any experience you want to share below, feel free. I would love to hear what you've experienced. Maybe something different than me, or something that you saw that I didn't touch on, and something that I can keep my eye out for. All of that is appreciated. Yeah, I just want to create a little something here. So yeah, so thank you, and bye.